Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to HA After Dark. And we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to focus on Bruce Orr this evening. I've been speaking about Bruce Orr and his role, the Obama DOJ official, for a long time, actually. You check my videos in 2017. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Bruce Orr in a couple of articles. But I mean, this is the most overt fabrication, and really, it's a conspiracy. If you without people, let's say, knowing each other, they all essentially conspire to do the same thing. Isn't that bizarre? And to my super chat, thank you so very, very much. You give me every incentive to keep rocking these live streams. Thank you. But it's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It's like basically what took place was that Trump was set up. Obvious. It's like an overt setup. Then they are investigating the fact that they set him up and that he had the audacity to fire someone who should have been fired. So James Comey set him up. Then when he realizes that, and Comey is not only wrote the Comey letter, which was a failed attempt at covering up Clinton's email. So what took place was they couldn't get away from Clinton's criminal behavior. She's like the sloppy drunk of criminal behavior. So they're like, well, she didn't mean to put a top secret intelligence on an unencrypted server in her basement. She didn't mean to. So we're just going to, let it slide. Then a week before the election, they find, and they knew about this. They waited for a week. They knew that Anthony Weiner had 22 top secret emails, 18 classified emails outside the United States government. So right now, it's not an example of, oh, you think Clinton's going to get charged with? No, she'll get charged with the crime eventually. You cannot go ahead and have top secret and special access program intelligence outside the United States government. And the whole notion that, well, she'll take down the government if she's ever indicted. No, she won't. The reason she wasn't is because she hid behind bureaucracy. If you utilize bureaucracy to hide your crimes and to frame other people, bureaucracy will be utilized against you. And so it's pretty straightforward. So I'll read you a John Solomon article just a couple hours ago. It's very interesting. John Solomon is one of the, along with Paul Sperry, John Solomon, Judicial Watch's Tom Fitton. You have then Catherine Herridge and Sarah Carter. Then several others who were really, really wonderful. You have a whole bunch of people who are at the forefront of all of this. But opinion, I don't know why they call it opinion, but top DOJ official discussed getting Steele back into FBI Mueller probe. It's not an opinion. It's actually the truth. But it's interesting, like when it's Trump, it's like any kind of accusation is fine. When it's Clinton or Comey or any of them, even though they've all been discredited, it's like, well, we just can't go ahead and we can't really say that they conspired. We have to just kind of walk on eggshells. I mean, so anyway, months after being dismissed from the FBI's Russia probe for misconduct, British intelligence operative, and here is the Hill article. So here's the Hill. Cybernet, JWICs, and Skiffs. That's right. John Paul Cosby. That's right. And so let's go ahead. Months after being dismissed from the FBI's Russia probe for misconduct, British intelligence operative Christopher Steele discussed being reinstated with a senior official working for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein so Steele could assist Special Counsel Robert Mueller. That's insane. Months after being dismissed, why would you want Steele to assist Robert Mueller? So months after being dismissed from the FBI's Russia probe for misconduct, British intelligence operative Christopher Steele discussed being reinstated with a senior official working for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein so Steele could assist Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Why would you want the guy who wrote a Steele dossier that is now the reason BuzzFeed is spending a whole lot of time defending itself against lawsuits and it's suing the DNC? Why would you go ahead and even allow Christopher Steele to be anywhere near the U.S. government? It makes no sense at all. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Whenever convenient, I would like to chat. There's a lot going on, and we are frustrated with how long this re-engagement with the Bureau and Mueller is taking. Steele texted Associate Deputy Attorney General Bruce Orr. What? Why would, on August 6th, why would a DOJ official be on text messaging terms with the person who wrote the Steele dossier and is connected with his wife, apparently, Nellie Orr at Fusion GPS? Connected just in some manner, at least Fusion GPS being the firm that utilized Steele's quote-unquote research, which is really gossip. Anything you could do to accelerate the process would be much appreciated. So this is the Hill article again. Let me send this to you again. So what are they doing here? This is what are they doing here? Chris, good to hear from you, Orr texted back as he proposed times when the two could discuss the idea. This is overt collusion. This is overt collusion. And if you want to talk about with a foreign power, Christopher Steele worked with Russian contacts. So it's like they need to get their propaganda straight. This is so ridiculous. So again, let me just read this. It's unbelievable. You have a top DOJ official under President Obama who's still there with Trump in 2017, who's texting Christopher Steele. Whenever convenient, I would like a chat. There's a lot going on, and we are frustrated with how long the re-engagement with the Bureau and Mueller is taking. Anything you could do to accelerate the process. Accelerate the process? The Steele dossier is completely unverified and completely just fake news. How does this happen? How do you have a DOJ official working with a guy who wrote a gossip-filled bunch of nonsense used to investigate everyone in Trump's campaign? And then Mueller wants a meeting with Trump. Brandon Wolf. HA, when will you start doing short form videos along with your live chats? Thanks. Soon. I know I have to, but it's I don't know. It's kind of like I've done it for Brandon, I spent 2 years, 2016, 2017, actually 2.5 years. I started doing these live streams about, a month, 2 months ago? About 2.5 months ago. And Brandon, I've done, all I did was for about 2.5 years was just the uploads. A little over 2 years, just the uploads. So, but I know I have to, though. I will start mixing in the uploads, and I know that I have to do that eventually. So Brandon, thank you so very, very much. Thank you. So then, okay, the exchange, one of several in which Steele proposed a return to the Russia probe, has captured the attention of investigators in Congress. This is enormous. This is insane. And if you've watched this channel for a long time, you know that I have been talking about all of this gaining steam right before the midterms. They knew that, first of all, it was an overt cover-up. And I was saying that from early 2017, all of this is an overt cover-up. And also what Trump is doing also is very interesting. Trump, he's kind of like, well, Mueller, I'd love to interview with you. I would love to interview with you, Mueller. I would love to. Here are my guidelines. And Mueller's like, you can't tell me guidelines. I'm Mueller. I'm the special counsel. No one gives the special counsel guidelines. We're gonna get you on obstruction. And like at this point right now, they're not even pretending. It's not even at this point a quest for truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a quest for truth. It's a quest for just throwing as much poop as possible. It's just like throwing as much poop as possible. And like, meaning like, it's about political gamesmanship. It's about just pure politics. It's about pure partisan politics. It has nothing to do with Russian hacking, which never took place. It has nothing to do. They have yet to prove Russian hacking. That's literally yet to prove. There is no evidence of Russian hacking. Zero evidence. There are questions that people have. Well, how come this? How come that? How come this? WikiLeaks, Julian Assange has stated categorically his source was not a foreign government. Not connected to a foreign government, not a foreign government. He stated that to Sean Hannity at Fox News. So, David Kaplan, The Hill, WikiLeaks says Senate panel requested Assange testimony for Russia probe. Exactly, David, exactly. I did a big segment on that today. Big news. That's yet another huge breakthrough. Another huge breakthrough. Veteran anarchy, John James for U.S. Senate for Michigan. That's right. It's a big seat to flip in the coming midterms. Absolutely. I agree with you. John James is awesome. There's going to be a huge, what Trump is doing is he's changing the fabric of American politics for the better. Now, hopefully he continues to do that. The most dangerous time for President Trump will be when he completely defeats the Democratic Party yet again. First in the midterms and then in 2020. After 2020, he very likely, I would say, pick a crime, any crime. It's either before 2020 or a little bit after 2020. Hillary will get charged with a crime. There's just too many things that she's done. Too many criminal acts. You can't go ahead and purchase a Steele dossier. That is an enormous Federal Election Commission crime. You funnel money through a law firm using the DNC's money also to purchase opposition research that was then used for an FBI investigation. So all of this is like the fabric of all of this will change. I mean, the way politics is done in the United States of America is going to change big time. The Clintons will not be as politically powerful any longer. That power will move to Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. So the Obamas will eventually control the Democratic Party, not the Clintons. That's the old guard, and they lost their power in a monumental defeat. So veteran anarchy, thank you so very, very much. John James is awesome. And we'll get a clip of John James in a little bit. David Kaplan, exactly, The Hill. And when you have and by the way, David, the Senate Intel Committee with Julian Assange, you have Warner and Burr, you have Democrat and Republican, both. It's a bipartisan. But when they're reaching out to Assange, they just want it to end. They're done. Both sides are done. Well, the Republicans have been done for a long time. Like the establishment Republicans, what happened with them is that they're like, oh, let's just keep the Marco Rubios and the Paul Ryans of the world, and initially the Lindsey Grahams of the world were like, you know what? This Russia thing's good for us, makes us relevant. You need to always have a boogeyman. You need to always have some kind of enemy out there that the government needs to protect you from. So they went along with it. Like, well, we have to fight this Russian interference. How stupid do they think the American people are? How gullible, how easily manipulated, how stupid what an insult it is for the electorate. What an insult it is for the average American. They must think we're the most brain-dead fools, and they do. They do. They do think we're the most brain-dead fools. Because their whole thing is, we have to go ahead and stop this meddling. Meddling how? By letting us know that Bernie Sanders was cheated? And don't get me started. Oh, I'm going to have a nice long segment. Maybe 3, 4, 5 hours. Who knows? In early November. It'll just be 5 hours of me talking about everything I predicted. I've been saying that this is going to take place. And I've been saying that the House is not going to flip because there's zero momentum. And I was saying that with Dem exit. Now there's walk away. Now there's hashtag walk away. Now you have all of these things. We're finding out what Tony Podesta is being investigated now under criminal investigation. We found all these things now. But let's go ahead. Let's continue reading. So, the exchange, one of several in which Steele proposed a return to the Russia probe, has captured the attention of investigators in Congress and the Department of Justice. Some of them told me they are stunned that a top Rosenstein aide would even consider restoring Steele in the case, and with good reason. So I wrote an article in the Daily Caller about Hillary Clinton being charged with campaign finance violations. Here's the article. So, or that she should be charged. So pick a crime, any crime. But here's my article in the Daily Caller. Hillary Clinton should be indicted for breaking campaign finance violations. Here you go. Here's the article. And I list all the campaign finance violations. You're talking about like Trump had relations with like, a model, a porn star, whatever. That's not a campaign finance violation. Campaign finance violation is hiring Fusion GPS. That's a campaign finance violation. To go ahead and fund opposition research and then use that opposition research for an investigation. You can't do that. You just can't do that. So I was talking about Bruce Orr. There's one Obama DOJ official refuses to testify. This is December 18th, 2017. It's like all throughout 2017, obviously early 2018. It's just, it's so sordid. This is so sordid with public record information, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Public record information. No offense to anyone. Peace and love. Peace and love. I don't need any message boards. I don't need any hyperbole. It's just public record information. I would debate anyone on YouTube, anyone on the planet regarding any of this. And I explain in the article here, Hillary Clinton should be indicted for breaking campaign finance laws. Everything there is to know about the fact that she purchased the Steele dossier. The fact that she purchased the Steele dossier, and that being a crime. It is a crime. It is a crime to purchase, to go ahead and it's just unheard of too. Like, to just go ahead and purchase a dumb gossip-filled document and then say it's obstruction when you want to close an investigation based on a gossip-filled document. How does that even work? And then it's like, well, you know, we conspired against you fair and square. We covered up fair and square. No, you didn't. That's not the way it works. You don't conspire fair and square, and you don't cover up things fair and square. That's not the way it works. Sorry. Can't do that. Can't react that way. And that's like what I say, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, believe me, I only have 116,000 subscribers. You know, I'm definitely not a household name. No, most 99% of the world, 99.9% of the world doesn't know who I am, but I have something valuable to tell everyone. You don't need message boards. You don't even need, you know, pretty wild viewpoints on things. Oh, this person's a man, this person. No, you don't need that. Stay away from that. Oh, this never really happened. No, stay away from that stuff. It just helps Democrats. Stay away from that stuff. All you have to do is read The Hill. Read the Washington Post. This is what I do. Everything, like, okay, so Noam Chomsky said it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. It's all there. You can literally read, like, for example, Vanity Fair is a great publication of record, especially when it comes to Christopher Steele. Vanity Fair has an article in early 2018, middle of 2017, regarding how Christopher Steele went ahead and compiled his fake news, bogus nonsense. He never stepped foot in Russia. He never even met his contacts. And his contacts were all, you know, Russian military, Russian this, Russian that. So who colluded with Russia, Clinton or Trump, who never had anything to do with Russians? And don't say Natalia Veselnitskaya is a Russian, because she's Russian. She's a Russian lawyer, but who cares? There's no link to Vladimir Putin. And if there is a link, then why did President Obama and Attorney General Loretta Lynch allow her into the country? What I'm saying is, from here on out, just look at the public record. You don't have to, like, the way I run this channel or the way I go ahead and do things with. It's not. I'm not trying to say that should be the standard. No, because, like, that's just the way I do things. But, like, if you notice, like, Sticks, Hard Bastard, they'll go ahead and read an article. They read an article and they'll talk about it. And also, like, look, I love Tracy Beans and Lionel Nation. Love them. And they do the same thing also regarding a whole bunch of other issues too. They'll say, like, look, this is what happened in the news. Let's talk about it. No, there's enough in the news. What I'm saying is there's enough in the news. You don't even have to go in any different direction. But anyway. So this is just insane. Let's continue. So they're actually talking to each other. So Bruce Orr and Christopher Steele are actually talking to each other, which is just insane. And you know what? Let's go ahead real quick. And, you know, Sean Hannity here has a really good segment. So there's a really good segment with Sean Hannity. And I was talking about it too, and like 7 months, 8 months ago. Also, they were talking about Bruce Orr like 7-8 months ago too. This is long before Q, long before. So just bringing it out. But so hold on one second. Hold on. There was a good one tonight. All right, hold on. So let's just listen to there's one with Giuliani, and that was a good one. And then there was one about Bruce Orr. But here's they know like everything that you and I have been talking about. Giuliani knows. They all know it's a bunch of nonsense. Right now, Democrats lost yesterday, and they say that it's a win. It's not a win. They have complete and utter media collusion.
I mean, what do we need to know that this is a totally illegitimate investigation based on a report, a dossier that was paid for by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats? Probably the biggest illegality so far.
So that's what I was talking about in my Daily Caller article. You can't go ahead. It was paid for by Hillary Clinton. That's the main thing. The money flow goes from Clinton to Fusion GPS, Clinton to CrowdStrike. She paid for a FISA warrant. She paid for a Russian hacking myth. And it's like they then want to legislate or they want to criminalize Trump defending himself. And they want to legitimize their suspicions. The whole thing is being run on suspicion. Well, how come? How come he met with to get Clinton's emails? Well, how come Clinton's emails were even an issue? Because she used a server outside the United States government. It's an egregious crime. So let's continue.
The biggest collusion so far, or conspiracy, completely made up, led to nothing except several fraudulent FISA wires. And now we have Mueller, who doesn't seem to care that he's sitting on top of a totally illegitimate investigation. But the thing about the dossier that she paid for, and the fact that the FBI paid Steele.
The fact that the FBI paid Steele is another issue. There's no money flow with Trump. That's the thing. Like, Democrats lose at everything. They even are horrible at propaganda. They're inept. They're failures at winning elections. And don't talk about President Obama, because President Obama ran on a kind of Bernie hope and change platform. He was the original Bernie Sanders, you could say. Like, this is where it would be very different. We're different from Bush. No, you're not. He was not different. He was ultimately turned out to be a little bit better than Bush, which was the worst president of all time. That says something about President Obama. He was somewhat better than George Bush. The world was not better off after President Obama. Just look at the countries in flames now. You can talk, Libya, Syria, he got us into Yemen. But let's continue. So, the fact that the FBI would pay Christopher Steele. So the FBI paid Christopher Steele, and then also Clinton paid Christopher Steele. And then he's getting sued now. Like, how does nobody in this sordid mess made out? Like, nobody, their lives are all ruined. James Comey's reputation is in tatters. Everyone on the planet, even people defending him, know that the guy is slimy. He's now being investigated for leaking classified memos. Okay, the Comey memos, 4 of 7 were classified. He should be charged. I'm waiting for Andrew McCabe to be charged. I've stated he's going to be indicted. There's already a criminal referral out against him. He lied under oath. James Clapper and John Brennan lied under oath. That was the Obama administration. Then you have Peter Strzok, Lisa Page. Then you have all of this craziness with everyone from Bruce Orr getting demoted. Assange being today, we have Assange testifying. Hopefully he's thinking about it with his legal team. I did a segment on this. I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think it's kind of the beginning of the end for the Mueller probe. I think that both sides are tired. The Senate's tired. They know that it's not good for either party, especially even the Democrats know it's not good for them anymore. And Republicans are they're now almost benefiting from it. Almost benefiting from it. Because it's occupying like the most inconsequential, ridiculous, absurd nonsense that voters don't care about is occupying most of the time for Democrats. And the fact that Danny O'Connor almost won is not indicative of Republicans being in trouble. They have complete and utter media collusion, and they have a Mueller probe. It's basically a taxpayer-funded. It's like the opposition research and the taxpayer or voter-funded nonsense is like never, Best AC/DC song, I'd say is Thunderstruck. I can't click the link yet, but thank you. Spambot22, thank you. So let's just continue with Giuliani.
It was designed to misinform the American people with Russian lies to influence the election. Yes. There's a great irony here. If it wasn't, well, maybe if Mueller and his band of whatever they are, Democrats, right, were fair-minded, maybe they'd investigate. Maybe that's the collusion. Maybe that's the collusion. Did you ever hear the Adam Schiff tape that we played? Yes. Adam Schiff, he's just dying to get naked pictures of Trump with a Russian on tape. Here's your evidence, Mueller. You can't make it up. I mean, if it wasn't so serious, not only did they try to lie to the American people with Russian lies, now we know after the election, they tried to destroy the president with lies, and now they're connected to Mueller, perhaps? Yeah, I've never been involved in an investigation on either side that's more illegitimate than this one, that is so obviously more illegitimate. And I wonder, where's the sense of justice on the part of Mueller, on the part of the Justice Department? After all, the Justice Department, this is a Justice Department investigation. He's working for Rosenstein. And at some point, you got to say the irregularities, the unethical conduct, double standard.
So Giuliani knows very well he's not going to ever in a million years allow Trump to speak to Mueller. It's a stupid thing. And Mueller, if he goes through the midterms, the heat is going to be on Mueller. And you're going to have the Republican establishment really upset. You're going to what started off as what they thought was this, oh my God, this this a beginning of the end for I think, what was it? What's her name? Nancy Pelosi was thinking Trump was going to self-impeach. Do you remember this? I mean, they're all so delusional. We'll continue with Giuliani in a second, but they're going to self-impeach. Can you believe this insanity? Pelosi predicts Trump will self-impeach. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. They're completely clueless. And it's like people were like, yeah, it makes sense. Like they hate his personality so much, they don't realize how absurd they all are. Pelosi predicts Trump will self-impeach. This is June 13th, 2017. Can you believe this insanity? Can you believe this insanity? Pelosi predicts Trump will self-impeach. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi believes President Trump will self-impeach and that Democrats should wait for the Russia investigations. Well, we've kept waiting and waiting. Wait, just keep waiting. How many failed projects, how many failed propaganda ploys can you just spew? How many times can you say, "Oh, well, just one more. We're getting close." They're lying. They were lying from the very beginning, and the whole notion was absurd that Russia would hack the DNC to embarrass Clinton. There was enough to embarrass Clinton. Her whole campaign and her political career is embarrassing. It's a never-ending embarrassment. So then Pelosi last year, she's like, "Oh, he's going to self-impeach." Pelosi believed that if Trump fired Mueller, it would be enough to push Republicans to begin seriously considering acting against the president on their own. Why? Why would that? Like, because the Republican Party at that point, perhaps, and I think that she was just banking on the fact that Republicans didn't like him and da-da-da. The Republican Party didn't realize that without Trump, they're nothing. See, this is the thing. Without Trump, the Republican Party is nothing. That doesn't mean Trump is perfect. That doesn't mean that Trump is, to me, Trump is a sympathetic figure right now because of everything he's endured with fake and phony investigations, while his political opponent, Clinton, has real crimes that eventually will lead to charges against her. But she thought that he was going to, I think he's going to self-impeach. It's like they don't get it. They don't realize that he's fine. He's easily going to win. And they're like, "Oh, can Trump pardon himself? Like, he didn't commit a crime." Bud Drake, yes. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like they don't realize, they have zero understanding of how clueless they are. That's why when Troy Balderson in Ohio last night grabbed him by the McMaster, they didn't know what to do. They're like, "Oh my God, Green Party, no, Green Party, Green Party. Oh my God, Green Party. I hate you with the power of 1,000 suns." That's like one person said, "I hate you with the power of 1,000 suns." They would not. It's like they don't. It's funny and sad and funny and sad, and more sad than anything else, but also pretty funny. He blamed the Green Party. It's like, no, you fabricated Russia. You ignored Clinton's lies. Now you have Julian Assange testifying, hopefully, and he's going to bring down the House. And it's like, oh, wow. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to type in Green Party. So hashtag Green Party. I want to see. Okay, so hashtag Green Party. I just want to see something. Kind of funny. It's this. Okay, so yeah. It's okay. 1,754 votes. Oh my God. They're all attacking the Green, using profanity. See, they don't get it. Just using it's all profanity. It's all profanity. There's not even a profanity alert, just all profanity against the Green Party. The hatred. Like they don't get it. They don't realize it. Like, I'm disgusted. I hate the Green Party. F them. All this. They don't understand that it's not the Green Party. They lost because they're despised. They're going to lose in the midterms. They don't have any momentum at all. The only reason they're close in these races, that Connor Lamb was close and Danny O'Connor was close. Well, he won, but he barely won, is because the media was like, oh, special election, boom, and they still lost 8 out of 11. That's the thing I'm trying to tell people. They don't get it. Like, they don't realize they lost 8 out of 11. Max Stokowski, if Julian Assange testifies, how will the media disprove him? Do you think this will all end, or will the left find another way to continue this? The left will find, even if the Mueller probe ends and Julian Assange testifies, the left will find a way to ignore and continue. At this point right now, we just have to ignore the crazies. So, Max, at this point right now, and I urge everyone, all 620 people watching, there's going to be a point when Mueller is like, here's your report. Here's the report that I wrote. And by the way, I really do super duper, really do think in my heart of hearts that something really bad happened. I have my suspicions about Trump, but I can't prove anything. But that'll be enough. And I think he really tried to obstruct justice. And I'm just going to give this report and tell everybody how much Trump is really, really a bad guy. Of course, the report won't lead to anything. So Max Stokowski, so Mueller's going to have this report, and whether he does it after the midterms or before the midterms, Max Stokowski, I think that he's going to eventually have this report, and the report will be even more hilarious once Republicans win both the House and Senate. And it'll be basically, oh yeah, well, we have a lot of questions about Trump, but it won't prove anything. And from that report and from further news stories, they'll never let the Russia thing go. They'll bring it up in 2020. They're already bringing it up now because they know. Like, this was reports, they were already blaming Russia for election losses. The election wasn't even this was like 5-6 months ago. Russia's eyeing the 2018 midterms. But they lost miserably last night. Like they lost miserably in 2016. Because they don't realize why they're despised by so many people. And right here, the Green Party is like, and then, of course, so before it was the Bernie voters, they were like, oh my God, you can't let Trump win. You can't let Trump win. This is so awesome. This meme is pretty amazing. Okay, so watching liberals melt down on Green Party is simply great. It's so awesome. Oh my goodness. What can I tell you? Oh my goodness. And then, of course, and what's interesting also, which is very interesting, not only do you have the establishment Democrats, by the way, I'm just going to fill you in on how dysfunctional the left is. And if you're progressives and still watch this channel, I love you, and you know what I'm talking about. So now on Twitter, I was reading so now not only establishment Democrats hate Bernie Sanders supporters, okay? Now what's taking place is the Bernie Sanders supporters are starting to hate the Green Party because the establishment Democrats hate the Green Party. So now the Green Party, the poor Green Party, is like being assaulted on every single side, on all flanks, on all it's like they're, and then that should make them want to vote even more. Could you imagine? Like, that doesn't happen. Like, it just doesn't happen with conservatives. It just doesn't happen with conservatives. I mean, yes, there is a libertarian party, but like, you just go. I don't even see the point in it. Go, especially with Gary Johnson. What's Aleppo? Okay, you just destroyed. Now it's like there's not even a semblance there of trying to win. And so you have the people who are the purest progressives, the purest people on the left. And then you have these established people like, I love socialism. I love socialism. Well, if you did, why do you hate the Green Party so much? It's just that they don't even realize how they don't realize how duplicitous and disingenuous they are. Well, like always. But I'm just going to read okay, so let's just continue with Giuliani.
Way in which people who hate Trump were put into primary positions of power. That has completely tainted this investigation.
A family from law enforcement. My mom was a prison guard. You know, my dad, New York City, family court probation. Well, so many cops in my family, FBI agents. I cannot believe this is such a. The rank and file are so good. Here's the thing: you responded today to Mueller's latest request. And you think this could be over by September. Let's start with the request.
Well, I think if it isn't over by September, then we have a very, very serious violation of the Justice Department rules that you shouldn't be conducting one of these investigations in the 60-day period. Look, he's got plenty of time.
So Giuliani is throwing the gauntlet down. He's not playing. He's not playing. He's like, look, if you want to mess with me, it's the 60-day period before the elections. You want to play around with the stupid investigation that was started from Comey's dumb notes. You want to go ahead and play that game. Then we're going to actually, who knows? They might actually then, they might actually then try to really force Mueller's hand in terms of Strzok or a whole bunch of other people. Strzok, Bruce Orr. I mean, the political momentum, the wins, the political wins are all moving towards Trump. They've all moved towards Trump. Trump has all the momentum. So, and there's everybody from Peter Strzok to Hillary Clinton, who paid for the Steele dossier. There's a million things that Trump can do and the DOJ can do if they wanted to then say, hey, Mueller, here's what we have on collusion with Democrats in Russia. Did Peter Strzok meet with Christopher Steele? If they did, it's game over. Remember here, H said it, 10:41 p.m. Pacific. If Peter Strzok met with Christopher Steele, game, set, match, done. Peter Strzok went to London. Why? John Brennan went to London. Why? Why did these people fly to London? Why? And also the really funny thing about Troy Balderson yesterday, the margin of error, and I understand it could change. So I get it. It can change with the provisional ballots. Bold like a leopard. He has not. I don't exactly know what that is, but he has not. Um, the thing is, like, why? Now you have to ask, well, why? Why did these people fly to London? Why did they start an investigation? Why did they start an investigation when you have only gossip? Like, why? Like, it's only gossip. Could you imagine if they used gossip against Clinton? I mean, they haven't. With Clinton, they have the evidence they have, which is public record, is enough to indict anyone. With Trump, the gossip wouldn't hurt anyone. And they're like, oh my God, you see what this is? And they churn the suspicion. So stupid. But anyway, but listen to it. This is really, really interesting. This is around 2 minutes. Listen to Giuliani, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. This is what he says.
Dad, New York City, family court probation. Well, so many cops in my family, FBI agents. I cannot believe this is such a. The rank and file is so good. Here's the thing: you responded today to Mueller's latest request, and you think this could be over by September. Let's start with the request.
Well, I think if it isn't over by September, then we have a very, very serious violation of the Justice Department rules.
If it isn't over by September, we have a violation of the Justice Department rules. Then people say, well, Comey wrote the Comey letter. Yeah, it was a failed cover-up. Sorry. Failed cover-up. Failed cover-up. What do you want? Oh my gosh, the Comey letter ruined Clinton. Yeah, because she actually committed crimes. And there was also classified intelligence on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Hello. You have to spoon-feed facts to these people. Spoon-feed. Are you okay? Why don't you accept this fact? Bruce Orr was a go-between between Christopher Steele and James Comey. Here's the spoon feed. Well, you don't accept. You want to spit it out again. The Democrats spitting it out again. We can't feed them facts. Then they give a pontificate about, oh my God, look what these people are thinking. They don't understand. Like, they don't get it. Like that we can hear you. Like, you have people talking craziness about you, and they're right there. Like, I can hear you. I hear exactly what you're saying. So, like, we know that Hillary purchased the dossier. Oh, who cares? There's so many questions here. Like, the smartest people in the room at this point right now, they're only acting smart. They're not smart. They're not intelligent. He's like, yeah, well, and they're running on the fumes of propaganda, and they're acting as if they're acting as if they've found something new, but it's always the same rehashed. It's like like 20 remixes of Beatles songs. It's like a remix of a remix of a remix. Oh, Spambot 22, favorite Led Zeppelin song. I mean, that's easy. It would just be everyone's favorite Led Zeppelin song. Stairway to Heaven. Oh, I don't know if it's everyone's Stairway. Another Brick in the Wall actually is my favorite. So No, I mean Another Brick in the Wall. I don't know what everyone's favorite Led Zeppelin song would be. I don't know. I mean, probably either Another Brick in the Wall or Stairway to Heaven. But I mean, I'm not like that hardcore into Led Zeppelin just because it's just like growing up, you hear like the same songs over and over again. But they're obviously amazing. Obviously, one of the great bands of all time. Obviously, like I like I Am the Sword from Motorhead. Just me! Just me! Hey, HA, how are you tonight? Want to check out your gun channel? What's the name of it? It's HA Second Amendment. So, HA Second Amendment. Here I am. You can go ahead and I'll give you a good clip. This is my so this is me with my AK. I can go ahead and give you this is a good one. Oh, you know what? I'll give you the one with my 500 Smith & Wesson here. So this is so just me. Here's my that's my clip from my I just went ahead. So just me. This is actually was in my article that was retweeted by the NRA. That has like 7,000 do it again. 7,000 views. So just me. I just sent 2. This is my clip with my 500 Smith & Wesson 10.5 inch revolver, and it has 7,496 views already. It's pretty good, you know. I try to slowly building the channel, but I already have on that channel slowly but surely 4,142 subs. But so Just Me, thank you so very much for your interest. Thank you, Just Me, as always. Thank you, Just Me. But let's go ahead and finish this up. So, I mean, Giuliani he's basically saying, you know what? Not going to fly.
Were put into primary positions of power that has completely tainted this investigation.
It's a family from law enforcement. My mom was a prison guard. You know, my dad, New York City, family court probation. Well, so many cops in my family, FBI agents. I cannot believe this is such a, the rank and file is so good. Here's the thing. You responded today to Mueller's latest request, and you think this could be over by September. Let's start with the request.
Well, I think if it isn't over by September, then we have a very, very serious violation of the Justice Department rules that you shouldn't be conducting one of these investigations in the 60-day period. Look, he's got plenty of time to either decide. We offered him an opportunity to do a form of questioning. He can say yes or no. We can do it. If he doesn't want to do it, he knows the answers to every question that he wants to ask. He's going to ask him, did you tell Comey to go easy on Flynn? The president's going to say, no, I didn't. Hey, Bob, you know it. Why do you want to get him under oath? You think we're fools? You want to get him under oath because you want to trap him into perjury. But we're not going to let you do that.
The whole thing regarding it doesn't even matter, too. He can tell his attorney general and he could tell his FBI director whatever the heck he wants to tell. Go easy on Flynn. He should go. General Flynn's an honorable man. An honorable man. And so you have this situation here where it's like, you're trying to go ahead and you're trying to H.A. Goodman. I like going to California because the alternate picking and classical C tuning, so peaceful. Thank you, Spambot22. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like obviously Led Zeppelin is amazing. You know, I like maybe a little bit more of I love the Ramones. I like Motorhead. I like, you know, I mean, everything from the 80s to punk music to I'll listen to disco. I love rap, old school rap. But everything from the Beatles, the Who, death metal. Yeah, I mean, I think that music's amazing. Stupid thing. Music is absolutely amazing. Let's finish up with Giuliani.
There's two separate issues: collusion and so-called obstruction. There's a report today. You said no question.
There's no collusion and there's no obstruction. So the whole thing's so absurd and stupid. Because there's no collusion, there was obviously no obstruction. You can't obstruct an investigation into nothing. It's like funding the bridge to nowhere.
On obstruction.
It's like you prevented the bridge from nowhere from being completed. No, it was the bridge to nowhere.
Am I assuming here that your response to him was maybe a couple of written answers only?
Well, I can't tell you what it is yet because we haven't. Sure, you can. No, I can't. Jay will get very angry at me. My co-counsel.
I understood.
I like Slayer.
So he'll get very angry, and Jane will.
I like Slayer. I mean, it's like I don't know why it's hard for me to think about AC/DC, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. One day, it's kind of funny too. It's kind of funny. I was at a newsstand, and there was like a metalhead there working. And he's like, "What's your favorite band, man?" And I don't know why. I just was like, well, I like this band, I like that band, I like this band. And I said, I like Bon Jovi too. He's like, Bon Jovi, get out of here. Get out of this newsstand. He was kind of joking, but it is just funny. You had to be there. It was pretty hilarious the way he said it. Anyway.
I'd love to tell you, but the reality is he doesn't need to ask a single question on obstruction. He has all the answers. They're not going to change. The president's not going to change his testimony. So stop the nonsense. You are trying to trap him into perjury because you don't have a case.
Van Halen. Love Van Halen.
Constitution is our good friend.
I love Van Halen. I love everyone from like Ramones, Dead Kennedys, Sex Pistols. Then you go to Van Halen, AC/DC, Motorhead. Yeah.
Mark Levin is on the president's side. I agree it's illegitimate, has been. The double standard is so glaring. We have been pointing it out now every night and with new details every night. My question is, I wouldn't give him a thing. You don't owe him a thing. And if he wants a fight, then there's going to be a fight.
Well, yep. We don't like to fight, you know that.
I used to watch your press conferences. I disagree with that.
The reality is, the real story here is not that this case isn't going to fizzle. It's going to blow up on them. The real question is what we talked about before. There's a lot more.
What? It's not going to fizzle. It's going to blow up on them. What?
This case isn't going to fizzle. It's going to blow up on them. The real question is what we talked about before. There's a lot more to what they did that nobody knows about yet.
I know a lot.
There's a lot more to what they did that nobody knows about yet. Oh my God, are you serious? For real? Insane Clown Posse. Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, like, even like The New York Dolls have some great songs. Black Sabbath.
A lot more to what they did that nobody knows about yet.
I know some of it.
A lot more to the obstruction of justice, to the collusion, to the fake dossier.
Oh, I know.
Trying to bring Steele back in after he was completely discredited.
And then feed it to Mueller.
Yeah. And Mueller is going to have a lot to answer for.
Mr. Mayor,
Mueller is going to have a lot to answer for. Larry Gorky. So accuse some higher up in some uber secret agency which can neither stop him nor even ID him and raves like Nostradamus. Okay, I'll swallow that hook. Larry, I agree with you. It's like, I think it's very, very dangerous. So I've already stated, everything that I could. It's very dangerous. Nobody should believe in a message board. And just, thank you, Larry. Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. So let's go ahead. So they're taking off the gloves. It is going to be fantastic. It's like popcorn. It'll be popcorn consuming hour every day, and from here on out to November. It'll be unbelievable. We might actually hit 120,000 subs. That's actually one reason I should probably do the uploads too. To get the but let people know about this channel. But yeah, so
discredited.
and then feed it to Mueller.
Yeah. And Mueller is going to have a lot to answer for.
Mr. Mayor,
I said a long time ago that the investigation here has to be of the investigators, because we can't let this happen again in American history. We may not have a president as strong as President Trump. A lesser president could have really been cracked by this.
Mueller, then you got Jeannie Ray, you got Andrew Weissman. Here's my question.
And he's right about that. A lesser president, and I hate to say it. I hate to say it because Bernie folded so quickly. It was like a heavyweight fight where he folded without even getting into the ring. Like, he got into the ring, of course, but what I'm saying is, like, he just at the convention, just like, okay, fine. You could have, and the thing is, look, you want to go ahead and not create a stir. All Bernie had to do was just be like, look, I'm not campaigning for you, so I'm not going to campaign for you. That's it. That's all you had to do. You cheated me. I'm not going to campaign for you. And also, I want to find out what happened to the money. $200 million from Bernie Sanders voters. What happened to that money? I don't think, see, this thing, I don't think that he was paid off. I don't think it was a matter of a beach house or whatever. It's not, he wanted to win, but when he was cheated, he then said, well, I'll try to salvage whatever I have left. But they had him where they wanted him at that point. And, so exactly, in a way, he didn't really want it. So let's just continue with this.
Question. We know the Department of Justice has absolutely denied congressional subpoenas. Now, as great a lawyer as you are, I don't think you'd get me out of trouble if I was ignoring a subpoena.
No, I don't think I could.
But the president has the power to go through these documents, through the FISA, and make it unredacted and let the American people see that the bulk of information was what Christopher Steele himself said.
Well, that's something
wasn't verified.
Something that, as his private lawyers, that he has to do with Emmett and his government lawyers. And he's going to.
Would you suggest he should?
I can't tell you what I suggest. It's a privilege.
Okay. Let me ask you about the FISA lies. The bulk of information, the Grassley Graham memo says, came from the phony dossier that Hillary paid for. That turns out to be a lie. The author of it says he can't corroborate it.
Right.
Now, here's my question. So they used it 4 separate times to spy on an American citizen, an opposition party candidate campaign associate in the lead up to the election, after the election. Again, what if I lied to a judge? I wouldn't think of lying to a judge without getting my life in jail afterwards.
You'd be investigated for perjury. You'd be investigated for contempt. Your career would be ruined. Your life would be ruined. And I believe that when this plays out over the next year or two, it's not going to be about President Trump. It's going to get over with. It's going to be about all the things they did.
Oh, Trump is not the type of guy. Trump is not the type of guy that you mess with. Trump is not the type of guy. Trump's not the type of guy. That, I mean, Trump is like, he's ready to like make this. He will not rest. That's why I know like it all leads to Hillary. So Clinton is going to get charged with the crime because she committed so many crimes. It's like pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. It's not like it's not like it's not like Trump's gonna just forget about it. Trump's not the type of person to be like, oh well, you know what? Let's, you just gave it your best shot. You gave it your best shot. Let's just forget about it and move on. Like Trump is just waiting and waiting and waiting. And the Mueller probe and all, they just were like, you know what? Maybe we can knock him out. Maybe we could just knock him out with this. Let's try. You have a whole bunch of people now who, by the way, when Hillary gets charged, will be like, oh my God, this is what Russia wanted. This is what Russia wanted. No. So, just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, 648 people here. Thank you so very, very much. I'm not sure about that ratio, but even if that ratio is accurate, so I don't understand what country would react differently. And I do believe in, by the way, I want a Palestinian state. I'm not saying that, like, I want a Palestinian state. I want there to be peace between Israel and Palestine. But any country that is attacked by a group is going to retaliate. And the ratio. Then secondly, he's not bringing up the ending of wars anymore. His whole thing is single payer, single payer, single payer, single payer. That's it. So Alexander M. Gonzalez, his whole thing is single payer. You can't have a movement. It's like that's not popular among independents and conservative, or at least it's not. You can't bring them into the fold. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people who really, really wanted a Bernie Sanders presidency when they thought he was a certain type of person. And that included veterans and conservatives and a lot of people who were like, look, this guy is going to really change the system. Trump is changing the system in a different way. I hear you. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I would rather have the Labor Party in Israel. Beyond the infinite. The IC using electronic surveillance spied on Trump. Exactly. Since 2015. One and a half years while he was colluding. So why don't they have all the evidence? Exactly. That's an amazing point. That's an amazing point. That's an amazing point beyond the infinite. An amazing point. They should already have the information. They should already have.
This, you know how sometimes the cover-up is worse than the crime? In this case, the investigation was much worse than the no crime.
That's exactly what I've been saying. Yeah, but we will never, ever, 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 ever invade Iran. Ever. Because they don't have internal strife in terms of their political system. There's not... They have a unified government, or at least a unified people. So Iran is a unified country in terms of... I mean, obviously there are problems, but nobody wants... Like, they're not even close to a civil war. So, which is good. I don't want them to be close to a civil war. Civil wars are, horrendous. Ladies and gentlemen, so Beyond the Infinite, thank you so very, very, very much. Beyond the Infinite, thank you so much. Everyone, to my super chat, thank you so very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And have a great evening. Get some rest. I will see you tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It is going to be absolutely amazing. This whole Jeff McDaniel, $115 billion intelligence agencies, and they're buying fake dossier. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God. Seriously? Exactly. Jeff McDaniel, 100. Exactly. And 35 billion, like 30 billion when you combine all of them, the NSA, FBI, CIA. But yeah, and exactly. I agree with you 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. God bless you all. Sleep well. Have amazing, sweet dreams, and I will see you tomorrow. And it's just going to be, every day is going to be a vacation. If they reacted that way with Troy Balderson winning, imagine the epic meltdown. Epic meltdown. Imagine the epic meltdown when they lose in the midterms in the House and Senate. Thank you, everyone. And to my super chat, thank you. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.